Let's talk about encounters with unacquainted players. Forming new relationships with unfamiliar players is one of the key social processes in online games. One survey done by Parks and Roberts in 1998 showed that nearly all MUD players formed personal relationships with other users. These relationships included acquaintances, close colleagues, and romantic and sexual partners. Some of the factors that affect the formation of new relationships in online games include, first, the motivations to play the game. Second, time spent playing video games. And third, we need to consider verbal and non-verbal communication dynamics among online players. In regards to people's motivation to play online video games, Bartle, back in 1996, classified MUD players as achievers, explorers, socializers, and killers. Achievers refers to players motivated to play the game in order to level up and acquire in-game assets or loot. Explorers refers to players interested in mapping the depth and the breadth of the game world itself. Socializers refers to players that are more focused on player relationships and role-playing. Finally, killers refers to players interested in causing distress to other players. Evidence in relation to the effects of different motivations to play online games is found, for example, in an early study done by Utz in the year 2000 that showed that MUD players were mostly focused on role-playing and that players' trait sociability only had a moderate effect on the formation of online relationships. In addition to that, Williams, Yi, and Kaplan showed that EverQuest 2 players, EverQuest 2 being a massive multiplayer online game or MMO, that EverQuest 2 players were motivated first to achieve in the game and also to get immersed in EverQuest 2, but they were less motivated to socialize. It appears that in the context of playing EverQuest 2, forming new relationships was a byproduct of players being interested in achieving in the game and getting immersed in the game, rather than forming new relationships being connected to people's motivation to socialize with others online. In addition to this, World of Warcraft players interested in socializing had personality traits such as extroversion, agreeableness, they were warmer and more considerate, and they were also more open to new experiences or more artistic in nature, but they were also more neurotic as well. Players that were more interested in achieving in the game were higher on extroversion and neuroticism. Interestingly enough, game achievement motivation was not linked to conscientiousness as a personality trait. It appears that achievement motivation in online games is different or might be unrelated to traditional measures of achieving personality, like, for example, conscientiousness. This is all according to a study done by Graham and Gosling in 2013. Now, time spent playing online games also affects interpersonal communication processes in ways congruent with Walther's social information processing theory. According to social information processing theory, or SIP, people reduce uncertainty when meeting strangers online by developing and testing impressions, by asking questions and receiving answers to those questions. Given time, this results in more refined interpersonal knowledge as we get to know more about the people that we meet online by asking questions and receiving answers to those questions. Over time, this interpersonal knowledge might shift communication from being impersonal or cold to be more interpersonal or warm. Over time, people may also acquire experience in encoding relational communication using text. In support of SIP theory, mod players use more paralanguage. Like, for example, they use more emoticons over time, and in addition, the use of paralanguage was linked to making more MUD friendships. This according to a study done by Utz in the year 2000. A study I did with a colleague back in the year 2006 showed that more experienced online gamers sent more positive and fewer negative social and emotional text messages when playing a Star Wars online game in comparison to inexperienced players, and also that more experienced online gamers use more emoticons like smiley faces, and more emotes like writing scripted actions like Jorge starts dancing, and finally they use more abbreviations like LOL for laugh out loud, BRB for be right back, etc. That being said, spending too much time playing online games can have detrimental effects on interpersonal relationships. These effects are not simple to chart. For example, time spent playing EverQuest 2, according to a study done by Shen and Williams in the year 2011, well, they showed that playing EverQuest 2 for extended periods of time was beneficial to players that played EverQuest 2 with their family, but was detrimental for players who did not.